Okay, moving right along, we're burning time. First off, this is my first year of doing this, and I really want to express some appreciation to the two analysts that helped me. Courtney George, who does all the state public safety agencies, and Brian Groom, who does all the judiciary. I would have been very lost without them and all their help. I'd also like to thank all the committee members. This has been very difficult, I believe, because everything we've done has been online, and I'm accustomed to looking at people and being able to have face-to-face contact and conversations. But I've got a bad reputation for taking too long, so I'm going to get right into this and try and get through it. But starting off with Section 5, the Court of Appeals, 5.1.5, increased funds for hardware and software costs. It was allocated $180,258. They came back to us and they had some needs way beyond that, so we gave them $254,000. Moving down to 5.1.8, we have a judge that temporarily can't work. We have to have a replacement for him on the Court of Appeals. That's going to cost us $117,069. And you'll see this reflected throughout the judiciary. 5.1.9 is a restoration of funds from last year with the cuts, which is $216,370. Moving on to the Georgia Statewide Business Court, Section 5.2.6, increased funds to restore personal services reductions. It's another restoration, $10,621. Moving over to the Judicial Council, 6.4.5, increased funds for the Georgia Courts Registrar. The registrar is now trying to organize all the courts, making a register to make communications a lot easier. We're going to give them $75,000. 6.4.6, provide one-time matching funds for the Child Support Collaborative Grant, $21,600. Judicial Qualifications Commission, 6.5.1, they asked to increase the funds for 2 attorney positions. We're going to give them one at $125,557. Again, we have the restoration at 6.5.2, which is $3,795. Going over to the Council of Juvenile Court Judges, 7.1.1, provide funds for Juvenile Detention Alternative Initiative statewide coordinator position. We didn't fund that. Grants to counties for juvenile court judges. 7.2.3, increased funds related to the creation of the Columbia County Judicial Circuit, which would be $25,000. District Attorneys. Section 8.2.1, increased funds to reflect an adjustment of the employer share of the teacher's retirement system from 19.06 to 19.08. Any agency that's in here that has people who belong to the teacher's retirement system and have transferred in will be affected by this. This is the only time I'm going to mention it, but it's $2,419. Increased funds for personal services for 12 additional assistant district attorneys. They asked for $1,225,817. We're going to give them $715,057. And instead of getting 12, we're going to give them 7. And what we do is we try and maintain parity with them and the public defenders. So the other 5 positions that are here will be reflected later under the public defenders. They're getting 75% of the money. 8.2.5, increased fund for personal services for ongoing recruitment and retention of staff. They asked for $3,980,916. We're going to give them $1,244,036. Increased funds for costs associated with 3 additional judgeships in the Cobb, Flint, and the Geechee judicial circuits. All these have been approved, and each one of them is going to get a new judge. You'll see in 8.6.7.8, each one of them will get $64,497. It's not effective till January the 1st of 2022, so that's only a half a year. Increased funds for the support costs for the Columbia County Judicial Circuit. We talked about that again. It's supposed to be a new circuit, $1,375,425. Moving down to the Prosecuting Attorneys Council, increased funds for regular operating to reflect the restoration of funds. Again, we're going to restore funds from cuts last year. They asked for $173,000. We gave them $130,000. And what we've asked is some of their training. They want to go back to training. They've been doing it online. We asked that they do go back, but that they still continue to do some online to save some money. Council of Superior Court Judges. Increase funds to restore personal services. Again, it's a restoration. 9.3.10 of the Superior Court Judges. Transfer $850,499 from the Augusta Circuit to the newly created Columbia Circuit. The Columbia Circuit now is in the Augusta Circuit, and if they separate, that's their pro rata share of the funding. Supreme Court of Georgia, increased funds to restore personal services reductions. It's another restoration, $123,726. 10.1.8, provide funds for an IT support position, $95,698. What's happened here is with the creation of the business courts, the Supreme Court has taken on all the IT responsibility for the business court, so we gave them that $95,000 for an extra position. Community supervision, there are no changes. Corrections. Under Departmental Administration, 19.2.2, utilize existing funds to implement a 10% increase for correctional officers in the state prison system. What happened here is they've got a real need for a pay increase, and the funds aren't out there, but they have a 35.5% turnover rate, and they've got so many vacant positions. The commissioner has taken his vacant position money for salaries and moving it over to give his people a 10% pay raise. He's also promised that he won't ask for those positions back in the near future. Under 19.7.1, I think most of you know that in addition to Department of Corrections, we have a private prison system. We've always tried to keep parity there, and we're going to use that same funding mechanism to provide the people who work in the private prisons with the same pay raise. Department of Defense, nothing. Most of you know that that's pretty much federally funded. Office of the Governor, Georgia Emergency Management, that's about the same. There's no change here, but that's primarily federally funded. Georgia Bureau of Investigation, Forensic Science Division. This is a real sore spot with me in that we put some money in supplemental to fund forensic pathologists. Without them, our system just really doesn't work. There's a need for 1,100 forensic pathologists in this country. There are about 500 certified. They've started their own crime labs in Fulton and Cobb. They both pay more than we do. The Board of Accreditation recommends that each physician do 250 autopsies per year. Ours are doing about 350 and risk losing their accreditation. The only 500 board certified, so it's a difficult job. We put money in. We're annualizing it now from the supplemental at $1,593,514. Criminal Justice Coordinating Council, reduce. Okay. What? I just did that. Okay. Criminal Justice Coordinating Council 30.5.3, reduce one-time funds to establish a law enforcement training grant program for state and local agencies. We gave them $15 million last year. They hadn't utilized it all. So we're taking back $10 million. And back up to Regional Investigative Services, 3.4.2. This is annualizing several sworn positions that were added during the year last year. They had different dates. It's $1,096,121. Criminal Justice Coordinating Council, Family, 30.7.1, increased funds for grants to local domestic violence shelters and sexual assault centers. 700,000 restores cuts from fiscal year 21. 30.7.2, provide funds for a 2% increase to domestic violence shelters. 238,317. They received a substantial grant a couple of years ago. I think it was about $100 million from the federal government. They've been weaning them off that now, and they're having a hard time making ends meet. Wish we could give them more, but we're going to give them a 2% increase for 48 domestic violence shelters. In addition, under 30.7.3, we were funded for 2 domestic violence shelters. Actually, the money was only in for one, for one, and what happened was we had 2, so we split the money in half, and it's going to be $75,000 apiece. Moving over to juvenile justice, 31.3.2. As most people know, the people in juvenile justice are youngsters. They're required to have the same educational opportunities as any child in public school system, so they have certified teachers. In order to get the certified teachers making the same pay as those in the public school system for their training and education, we're going to have to spend $94,531 to bring them up to where they should be. And utilizing 31.3.3, utilize existing funds to implement a 10% increase for juvenile correction officers to secure facilities. They have a the same problem that they have in the Department of Corrections. They have 297 vacant positions, and they have a 97% turnover rate per year in juvenile justice. So we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to take the money from some of the vacant positions and give them a 10% pay raise, just like we did in the Department of Corrections. So there's no cost to it. The money's already in place. They're just moving it. Law Department, 33.1.2, increase other funds by $21,701,787. This is actually state neutral. It's money that the Department of Law has collected from federal funds. Pardons and Parole Board, no changes. Public Defender Council, 37.2.1, we go back to the increased funds for a proposed new judicial circuit in Columbia County. Goes from $377,000 to $1,024,003. Increased funds for 3 assistant public defenders to reflect new judgeships. You remember we had 3 judgeships in Cobb, Flint, and the Geechee Circuit. We increased the money for the judges. Well, this increases the money for the public defenders in the same circuits. And it's $41,901 a piece. Once again, it doesn't go into effect till January 1, 22, so we're only paying for a half a year. And back when we were talking about the DAs, 37.2.5, we said they asked for 12 DAs. We gave them 7. The other 5 are coming over here in the public defenders to try and keep parity, $470,500. Increased funds for leave payouts. They say that they have, they're so hard up for money that when an employee retires, they get paid for up to 45 days of annual leave that they've accrued. When they do that and they do the payouts, they don't have enough money to hire people behind them. They have to leave the positions open for a couple of months. So we're putting $400,000 in for that. 37.2.7, increased funds for personal services for ongoing recruitment and retention of assistant public defenders, $746,422. Section 39, Public Safety Department. Field offices and services, 34.4.1, provide funds for 175-person trooper school, $1,567,575. 39.4.2, provide funds to create 2 new job classes to retain experienced sworn personnel. Once a state trooper gets to about the 8-year point, they no longer get any raises for the rest of the career unless they get promoted or they have a cost of living increase. It's statewide. What this is doing is put in 2 positions, one called a senior trooper at the 10-year point that'll get a 2.5% raise, and a master trooper at the 20-year point, which would get a 5% raise. Cost is $300,732. This is it's a zero budget item, but utilizing existing funds from some of the trooper schools that people dropped out of and they didn't have to fund them all the way through. They're going to use those one-time funds for facility repairs and maintenance post facilities statewide. Motor carrier compliance, 39.5.2, provide funds to create 2 new job classes to retain experienced sworn personnel. This is the same thing we're doing that they did with the troopers for motor carrier officers at 10 and 20-year point. Cost is $97,240. 39.5.3, provide for one-time funds for facility repairs and maintenance for wait stations and communication towers. $708,000. That was in the bond funding request, but we moved over to cash, and it'll save the state a little bit of money. Georgia firefighter standards and training, 39.7.1, increased fund for virtual testing resources for firefighter certification and training. This is an annualized request, but 70% of our firefighters in this state are volunteers. They have to meet certification requirements. Many of them can't take time off from the jobs and go to the public safety training center, so this allows for it to be done virtually. Georgia Peace Officer Standards and Training, 39.8.2, provide funds for 20 new computers and software updates, $18,000. Their computers over there are so old that they're not compatible with the new software. Office of Highway Safety, provide funds for IT enhancements for the grant system and remote software. What it does is upgrades to software to make the system work remotely at $6,974. And that completes the public safety budget. Do I have any questions from committee members? Any online?
No.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
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 Were those 4? Okay. Motion carries. We're adjourned.
Sir, can you sign this for me?
Yeah.
Anyone?
I skipped.